You begin in a shell, not just any shell, a Gronckle egg, which is less of a cradle of life and more of a geological accident. The damn thing looks like a boulder some idiot painted speckles on and forgot in a quarry. Other dragon eggs, the gorgeous, shimmering, mysterious zippleback eggs gleam like emeralds. Night fury eggs are sleek and ominous. Nadas sparkle like cursed jewels. And yours? Yours looks like something that rolled downhill during a landslide. Inside that rocky coffin, it's not mystical, it's not magical, it's cramped, damp, and hotter than a Viking sauna with no ventilation. You're jammed in like dough inside an overcooked dumpling. Your stubby little wings are bent, your fat body wedged in place, and you're just marinating in your own embryonic soup, wondering if this is really what life was supposed to be. And then comes the hatching, which is nothing short of tragic. Monstrous nightmares burst from their shells in fire and glory. Deadly nadas crack open with the sharp drama of a knife fight. And you chip away at your egg with the urgency of a sloth, trying to find the snooze button. And when you finally tumble out, you don't hatch, you plop. You hit the ground like a sack of wet cement. Congratulations, you've entered the world. As a hatchling, life doesn't get better. Other baby dragons are adorable, sleek, wide-eyed. And you look like a meatball that grew legs. The first steps you take are wobbly earthquakes. And when you try to roar, it's not a roar. It's a sneeze that got lost on its way out. The other hatchlings already know. This kid isn't predator material. This is comic relief. And while they're chasing bugs and learning to spit sparks, you're chewing rocks. Because that's your destiny. That's your diet. Rocks. You crunch pebbles like it's trail mix, munch boulders like bread rolls, and no one is impressed. Even terrible terrors are looking at you like, buddy, you had options. And yet you're destined for eternal volcanic halitosis and the rotund physique of a rolling boulder with wings. Yet beneath that squat, armor-plated exterior lies the soul of a misunderstood philosopher, the kind who chews rocks not just for the sustenance, but for the texture of truth. Then comes childhood flight training. If you can even call it a flight. The Nada's hatchlings shoot into the air like spears. The Night Fury kids, silent, sleek, already moving like shadows, while you flap your tiny wings like you're trying to swat flies, and somehow, miraculously, your fat body lifts up into the air. You don't quite soar. It's more like a hover with the urgency of a toddler going to bed. You're less of a dragon in flight and more of a floating rock, justifying your slow speed by claiming that you're practicing aerial minimalism. Meanwhile, gravity is standing under you with arms crossed, muttering, "This shouldn't be possible." And after 30 seconds, you're already wheezing, desperate for a nap. While the other kids are racing through the clouds, you're landing on your belly, drooling on the dirt, thinking, that's enough cardio for 1 decade. Adolescence for a Gronckle isn't a phase. It's just more of the same. You're pudgy, you're lazy, you're waddling around like a medieval beanbag chair. But this is when the power kicks in. The only thing that makes you worth keeping alive. You discover your firepower. Except it's not fire. It's not glorious infernos. It's not lightning blasts. No, to humans, a rock is a rock. To a Gronckle, it's a vintage meal with geological backstory. Translation, you chew up rocks, heat them in your gut, and vomit them out as lava balls. That's your big move, your medieval cement mixer with indigestion and a ton of heartburn. Other dragons breathe elements of chaos. You projectile bath geology. And yet it works. Those lava globes hit hard. They melt through metal. They wreck enemy ships. But let's be honest, it doesn't look badass. It looks like you ate the wrong street food at a market and now the whole battlefield is watching you throw up. Eventually, humans start to notice you. And this is the turning point in your sad, stubby life. Because Vikings, those lunatics with beards and bad dental hygiene, decide they're going to train dragons. And do you think they fight over you? Not really. They do write songs about capturing a mighty Gronckle. Actually, they don't. They stick you with fish legs. That's right, the nerdiest, pudgiest, most socially awkward Viking in the village. While Hiccup bonds with Toothless, the last night Fury, sleek, terrifying, mysterious. You're waddling behind a guy who memorizes dragon stats like baseball cards. You know what? It kind of fits. You and Fish Legs are the perfect pair. He's allergic to half the planet, and you're allergic to exercise. He lectures about dragon wingspan, and you're already half asleep. If this were a buddy cop movie, you'd be the sidekick who naps in the patrol car while the real hero captures the villain and saves the day. Adulthood for a Gronckle is a less rite of passage and more a slow motion resignation letter. You don't soar into your prime. You quite waddle into professional mediocrity. Your daily routine on Burke, breakfast, rocks, afternoon, nap, evening, industrial llama vomiting. You've been downgraded from fire-breathing legend to unpaid tradesman with wings. Gobber adores you, but mostly because you double as a living blowtorch. Dragons were once feared across the seas. Now you're summoned like a glorified kitchen gadget. Fetch the Gronckle! My axe needs reheating! You're not a majestic creature of myth. You're a sentient, flatulent forge tool. A volcanic Mr. Coffee with anxiety. A scaly Roomba that occasionally erupts. Somewhere in the ancient dragon scrolls, this was not the destiny foretold. And oh, the naps. Gronckles sleep more than house cats. 10 hours? Try 20. You don't hibernate, you just live in slow motion. While the other kids are learning aerial maneuvers, you were practicing the fine art of falling asleep mid-flight. And yes, that's canon. Did you know that Gronckles can lock their wings in place, basically putting the in-flight playlist on repeat and literally falling asleep while hovering? That's not majestic. That's called narcolepsy, and it is far less romantic than it sounds. But at least you can go to sleep at night knowing with full confidence that you're the only dragon that can power nap at 500 feet in the air. Imagine a helicopter just shutting off mid-air to catch some Z's. You're not a predator, you're a floating beanbag chair with a sleep disorder. Aside from rock vomiting, your greatest defense mechanism is luxurious laziness. So you might be thinking romance is the silver lining to all of this, right? Unfortunately, this is just yet another topic on why it sucks to be a Gronckle. Gronckle mating rituals are a masterclass in disappointment. Forget the fiery roars of monstrous nightmares or dazzling scaled displays of nadders. No, Gronckles flirt by bringing rocks. That's it. The grand romantic gesture. Hey babe, I gnawed on this quartz for you. And somehow, it works. They go weak in the knees over a chunk of igneous like it's a diamond ring. Case in point, Meatlog, Fish Legs Gronckle, once fell head over wings for a guy named Fanghook. Sounds fierce, right? Spoiler, he was just another waddling boulder with wings. Their courtship? Swapping stones like middle schoolers trading Pokemon cards. That's Gronckle love in a nutshell for ya. Geological gift giving with the emotional depth of a rock collection. Eventually, you get old, which is hilarious because an old Gronckle looks exactly like a young Gronckle. round, pudgy, and tired. You don't really age, you just snore louder. The Viking kids ride nadders into battle, shoot fire with nightmares, strike fear with shrill lightning. And the old Viking grandkids, they'll still be using you as a forge. The best case scenario for you in old age is retiring to a quiet life of rock buffets and naps while everyone forgets you were supposed to be a dragon. In the worst case, somebody mines your favorite meal sport for building materials and urban development. That's right. After a lifetime of eating rocks, humans come and steal the quarry for their own benefits and gentrification, leaving you to either relocate, which takes weeks due to your old age and speed slower than the 1980s PC, or smuggle from their construction supply in the dark hours of the night, which is really hard because you're old and you can't see. And then, finally, the end. The big finale. Did you die in battle, a fiery legend written into Viking sagas? Do you sacrifice yourself to save a village remembered for all eternity? Nah. You probably choke on a particularly tough piece of granite, roll onto your back, and snore yourself into death. Or worse, you just keep napping until one day you don't wake up. The eternal siesta. A life of being underestimated, underwhelming, and underfoot. Capped off by an ending so quiet, no one even notices you're gone. From rock egg to rock vomit to rock grave. That's the Gronckle life. You're not terrifying. You're not legendary. You're not even impressive. But you are reliable, practical, the underdog of dragons, the potato of the archipelago. And in a way, that's your legacy. Not all dragons are toothless. Some of you are meat log, the dragon-shaped microwaves of history. But hey, at least no one expects you to fly in a straight line.